Stories have been told since the dawn of time. Stories of heroes past, stories of mighty gods, stories of caution. And yet, the art of creating a story is one that is scrutinized, whether it is from the well-meaning critic or someone who has never bothered to lift a pencil before in their lives. We hear the excuse before. Stories need to be new, but never like what has been written before. We can never have copies. A story has to inspire. They can only entertain. Why does a story have to mean something? What's the point of writing this at all? And yet, what gives us the right to judge a story for its creativity? Are most stories not slight adaptations of other ones? Why are some stories more acceptable and praiseworthy than others? Stories have to fight to have their reason to exist, but we never ask why it must be this way. Tales will continue to be told when you are rotted into the ground. No one can escape a story, whether accepted willingly or as they come to you, on those nights where sleep is just avoiding you and something else invites its way in. This is from The Clouded Eye, or Anxieties of the Modern Day. Today's tale is There's a Cat in Your Bedroom. There is a cat in your bedroom. You've never seen this cat before, or at least, you don't think you've seen this cat before. And yet, this cat knows you. It didn't have to say it. In fact, the cat has not said one thing since you found it in your bedroom. All it does is stand in the corner and wait for... Well, you don't know what that is either, now don't you? After all, cats can't talk. They can't stand like people either, but this one can. Or at least you think it does. It's hard to tell under the cloak it's wrapped itself in. Yes, cats shouldn't be able to do that either, but it is here, and it has not left. The cat first appeared some weeks ago. You remember, because you had come home late from a trip. You live with your mother, and your father lived too far away to see him, so you thought it'd be nice to go visit him and your stepmother. And when you got home, it was just there. The cat was large and tall, with a wide furry face that stretched cartoonishly wide, but just the perfect right size for the wide toothy grin that greeted you. A large heavy-looking cloak laid on the cat's shoulders, wrapped around to hide its frame, and it stood and smiled at you, silently watching. It wasn't the cat's strange human posture, or even the Cheshire smile that scared you. It was the eyes. The cat's eyes were wide, golden, and stared straight at you. No, not at you, but into you. You thought, waiting to second-guess yourself, but you couldn't. This cat knows you. And worse, that knowledge frightens you. You just had to stare at those eyes to know that it knows this too. You tried to bring it up with your mother. You, your mother, and your sister were downstairs in the kitchen. Your mother had an ever-changing mood, and the both of you clashed sometimes, but surely she saw the cat in your bedroom as well. She had to. It's hard not to look in your room when you walk up the stairs. Surely she took a look, saw the strange cat, and knew it was there. She had to. She had to. You took a deep breath. There's a cat in my bedroom. Your mother slams the spatula as she holds down on the counter, causing you and your sister to jump. Don't joke like that, your mother snaps. Don't you ever joke like that again. Most days, your mother never got any of your jokes. You sat in silence and ate your eggs. That night, you go into your room and choose to ignore the cat. You go into your bed without acknowledging it, and lay there, wrapping your covers up to your chin, turned away from the cat. Its eyes bore into you, but you ignored them, trying to sleep instead. You hear a shuffling in the dark, a noise that creeps slowly closer to you. You continued to try to ignore the cat, but as the noise got closer and closer, you felt yourself turning to look, only to see that wide, grinning face staring down inches from you. The cat had indeed moved closer, bent so low that it hovered just over your restless form. You wanted to shove it away, to scream at it, tell it to go, but instead rolled away from it, now pulling the covers over your head. The next morning you awoke to the cat standing at its original spot. Months of this went by. Every time you entered your bedroom, there was the cat. Every time you tried to sleep, the cat crept closer to watch you. You threw things at it, yelled at it, even tried to drag it out of your room, but the cat always returned, standing there, watching. You tried to sleep in the living room once, but your mother put a stop to that. After all, you have a perfectly good bed upstairs. Why mess up her nice couch? Take your mess upstairs and sleep in your room, or move out. A part of you wished you just moved out already, but it wouldn't have gotten the cat out of your bedroom. And as long as you have a bedroom, you will have a cat, and it'll always be there, through every room you reside in your lifetime. You only had to look at the cat to know it. Your family is going to visit your grandmother. You're excited and relieved by this. The cat was only in your bedroom. It doesn't leave it to follow you around. You don't have a bedroom at your grandmother's house. You can get a good night's sleep without something staring at you all night for once. Your relief turned into dismay when you opened the guest room, the cat in the corner, that unchanging grin and wide eyes already turned onto you, already drinking you in. When you returned home a week later, the cat was back at its usual spot in your bedroom. And that night, you decided you cannot live the rest of your life like this. A prickle of uncertainty went up your neck as the cat assumed its usual leering, its face so close to you that you barely had to lift a hand to touch it. Its eyes were wide, unblinking, and empty, watching you so closely, that same fear coming over you. Images of the rest of your life went through your head, sleepless nights perturbed by the relentless staring of the cat. You reached up with a hand and began to pet it. At first nothing changed. The cat continued to stare as you rubbed your hand through the fur on its head, surprisingly soft and thicker than you thought it would be. The cat remained, unblinking, until it finally began to move. First was its eyes. You thought it was looking away from you, each eye moving in a separate direction, one to the left, the other to the right, as it brought its face closer to yours. It wasn't until it got closer that you realized that it wasn't the cat bending forward, but rather something inside the cat's pushing forward, the face giving way like elastic that elongated the cat's features. It began to open its mouth, exposing a wide, gaping dark maw beneath that insidious grin, exposing sharp teeth long enough to bite through the hand you kept in the cat's head as you continued to pet it. Something inside of you screamed to pull your hand away, but it was as if your hand was stuck, fear forcing you to continue to gently stroke the cat's soft head as its mouth expanded larger and larger, its face protruding forward into a mockery of a muzzle. The teeth expanded from the mouth, extending longer towards you, the mouth protruding to wrap around your head. All you can do as it grows closer and closer is to keep petting the cat, because that is all you could think to do. And then just like that, it was gone. Your hand stretched out into thin, empty air. You stood up in the bedroom, finally alone. You stayed like that the whole night, waiting for the cat, but it never returned. The next night, you finally were able to sleep, dreaming of a Cheshire smile that grew only fainter and fainter. There was once a cat in your bedroom. You hope there will never be a cat in your bedroom again. This has been From the Clouded Eye, or Anxieties of the Modern Day. Thank you for listening. This is a new thing I wanted to try
since sometime last year, and I figured why not do it in a long format video series rather than trying to get around the intricacies of starting a podcast, which honestly I don't really have the time to do. That being said, I'll be posting videos like these along with my usual content, so you're not going to get a video next month, but you'll probably get another in the future. Stories like these take me a really long time to write. Anyway, if you would like to support me, I have a webcomic. It's a queer horror comic. It's called In Harmony. You can find a link to that down below, along with my sci-fi fantasy comic, The Shepherd of Oblivion. That one currently is on hiatus while I finish up a fan comic I'm working on, but you could read In Harmony for consistent updates if you wish to do so. I also have a Ko-fi down below if you'd wish to support me some more, but watching these videos is enough anyway. I hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.